Hello everyone, welcome to Draw by Lyra FS, and today is the big day on the Bodice block. So what we have decided to do is to first explain what the textbook says. It is easier when you understand what the textbook says before we even start drafting at all. Excuse me. Now, if you look at this diagram, it clearly states or shows what we need to do on the paper. Now, this first rectangle is your line 75, I beg your pardon. Now, the width is actually half hip plus 3 plus 4 or 5 for margin's sake, so that your hip does not overlap at this level. Now, so this is what we need to do. From this point, that's the edge, to point 0 or point O, it is 3 cm for bust 92. All right? For bigger bust, it has its own size. So that is why you need to understand the table of average measurements and proportion. We've already done the video, so watch it before you actually do the video itself, as in the bodice block. Now we have 3 cm for the shoulder line. This is a fixed proportion. It does not increase in any way for any size you are working on. Now we have the back line. Now the back line, the calculation is from point O to 21.5. Okay, what you have in between it gives you 11. The reason why they did 11 is because they don't want to divide the 5.5 cm fraction. All right, so you have to get it to the whole number first before dividing. That is how you got the 11 cm for the back line. Now the bust line, as it is, you will see it in the in the table of average measurement and proportion as the depth of your armhole. Then in brackets they'll write the bust line. All right, so this is the size for your bust 92 that we are drafting. So for everything you are drafting, you need to be checking your table of average measurement and proportion. Now, the next one is your waistline. The waistline is 40 for bust 92. But I need to tell you something here, very important. This does not work for Nigerian women on average size. Whoever is using size 40 has to be like a tall person. Yes, a tall. That means the person should be between 5.8 feet or 5'6". All right, from 5'6" upward. That is who would use a waistline of 40. Mama. All right, sorry about that. Now, as I was explaining that 40 cm does not work, so you need to either take the measurement of your client to be sure of the waistline for the back. Very, very important. Now, how do we get your 62? Is actually 22 cm was added for the hip measurement. If you read your textbook, it will tell you that right here it said 62 for hip line, which is 22 cm below the waist. That means that for 22 cm on an average, if you are working with some kind of shapes, you might increase it, especially if the person has a down backside, you can increase it. What on an average, it is 22 cm. Now let's go into the draft. Now from the top line, now we're going to take 3 cm as your point O. So in between this, you have 3 cm. From point O, you take 3 cm again for the shoulder. So you write 3 cm there. For the next one, you're going to take 40 cm. Now remember that everything you are doing from here start from point O, not from the tip anymore. Okay? So from point O, we are taking 40 cm for the waistline, then 22 which makes it 62 for your hip line. So I would indicate 62 right there. Then we have 40 right here. Now in between your point O, from point O to the waist, we're gonna mark for the bust. And remember, it is 21 cm that we are working on, 21.5 cm, I beg your pardon. All right, for the bust line. Now, between the point O and 21.5 cm will now indicate your 11 cm for the back line. Okay, so coming to the other side, we are taking the bust line, the waist, and the hip to across to the other side. All right, so this is how you're going to measure this so you don't make any mistake. Okay, now from the top line, so what you need to do is to first of all take the 3 that you've taken from the other side, just put it as a point there. Now below that, now you can now find your 21.5, 40, and 62. So this gives you a better calculation when you are dealing with it, so you don't make mistakes. So now I'll just draw the line across. See, always hold the ruler firm so that you don't make mistakes. Now for 40, then lastly for the bust line. Okay, now after connecting the lines, quickly indicate it so you don't make mistakes. Bust line, then we have the waist, then you have the hip line. Always label your patterns, very, very important. Now to start our draft, all right, the first thing we're going to do for point O is to take the back neck width. So for you to get an accurate line, what you need to do is to mark the point first. We're using 7 cm for this part. So what I'm going to do is to quickly cross-check from the upper part to make sure that I have actually done 3 cm. Can you see that? So it's the same as with the connection of your bust of your point O. So what I'm going to do is just to mark it right there, 7 cm, indicate it right there as your back neck width. Now the next thing to do is to take this point from the last point, take it 2 cm above, okay, like this, and this will become your NP, your neck point. For the shoulder line, now from this point to this place, I have 6. So I'll come to somewhere here to quickly come and check to make sure that my lines are actually very straight. Then, now the measurements that you are taking on the shoulder is half back measurement, which is 18 cm for a back 36, 18 cm right there. Now after that, you're going to add 2 more cm. Okay, so I'm indicating that so that you don't forget. So right here you write what? 2 cm. Then here you have 18 cm. On the back line, you're going to take the same 18 cm on the back line, which is half back. Okay, half back measurement. So you have 18 cm right there. I'm going to recheck again that my draft is actually equal. So I have 8. Yes, it's actually accurate. So right here, I'm going to put 18 cm as well. Now on the bust line, you're going to take 18 cm as well, and this will connect a straight line first. Now after this 18 cm, there is a measurement that you need to add to this, which is called the back UP point. Okay, so we have the back UP for bust 92 as 5 cm. All right, so that means we have 18 plus 5 equals to 28. 23, I meant to say, cm. All right, so after we've gotten to this stage, now you're going to connect your NP to your SP. So this is our SP point. You can put your SP right there so that you can understand it. Okay, now that it has been drawn, now we have the construction for your armhole connection. Now for the armhole connection, in the textbook it is said that your armhole should touch this line around the back line. All right, so it will touch it by 3 cm, which means we're going to divide it into 2. So the upper part from here is 1 and it connects it to 3 before it bumps out. Now at this angle, there is an angle here. At this angle we have 3 cm at this angle. So you rule a line here. So this is just a guide for your curve. And remember that your 18 plus 5 equals to 23 becomes your what? The UP. Let me write it down here so that you can see it. The UP line. Okay. Now to connect the armhole, all I'm going to do is just to blend it to the line that way. You can use your French curve, but I prefer to use the hand to do it. So you connect it. All right, so that's it, perfect. Now to connect the neck curve right here, now you need to make sure that the curve is just going to curve it halfway this way and blend into the line. Okay, so that's all about the curve there. Now to connect our HP, which is the hip point. Now what the measurement you're using here is quarter hip measurement. Quarter, not half. Quarter hip measurement. So we have the quarter hip measurements at 25 because we are using a hip 100 cm for this draft. Now you're gonna add just about 1 to 2 cm. Okay, so we're adding 2 cm, and that's the essence of you adding to the base of your pattern in the first place, so that you can have enough to share around the hip measurement when it gets to that point. Now we're going to connect the UP and the HP together. HP, then we have 25 plus 2, 27. Rule a straight line from the UP to the HP. Now around the waistline, because you still have your darts and so many adjustments to be done here, so we don't use your waist measurements for on the pattern when we are drafting. It is afterwards you can use it. So in this case, you are taking in 2 cm, all right, and you connect it just a straight line, 2 cm, and you connect it upward to the UP line. Okay, so we're almost done with the back. Let's quickly fit in the dart for the back. Now for the darts for the back, what we are using as your dart point on your bodice, it is your back measurement, which is the quarter back measurement. Remember, we used half back measurement here, so the quarter would be 9 cm. So 9 cm is what we use for your quarter back measurement. Now, what is the length of the dart? The length of the dart is usually 13 cm upward and 13 cm downward. But in this case, you can see that the waist measurement will determine how long your dart would be. Your dart should be between 13 to 15 cm maximum, okay, for both the upper part and the lower part. In this case, let's use 13 cm. Now you just rule a straight line. Okay. To 26. So this is what I do. You just put your ruler, okay, along the waistline, 13 cm, knowing that I'm taking 13 and 13 downward. Now for the width of your dart, the back dart, it is actually 1.5 on both sides, which makes it 3 cm. So connect your darts, complete it. Okay. 1.5, 1.5. That's all for the back measurement.